It's 6 p.m. Gentlemen, I'm going to start the meeting now. Okay. Welcome to the May 14th, 2025 regular meeting of the Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors. The time is 6 p.m. I will now call the meeting to order. Director Tom Howie.
Here.
Director Harvey Luke.
Here.
Director Andrew Romaine.
Present.
Vice President Mike Krieger.
Here.
Myself present. Board members, please make sure when you comment your microphones are on and remember to talk directly into the microphone. First on the agenda is our flag salute, and if I could please have Cub Scout Pack 214 join us. They will lead us in the flag salute today.
Color guard advance. Color guard prepare to post color. Color guard post color. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color guard retreat.
Thank you. And if you would please all remain standing, and Chaplain Ted Wong will do the invocation for us this evening.
Thank you. Let us pray. Our dearest Heavenly Father, we just want to come to you this evening with thankfulness. Thank you so much, Lord, for protecting our community, our fire district, and our firefighters. Thank you, Father, for your hand, Lord, in helping with the small brush fire that happened a couple of days ago. Thank you for the reminder, Lord, of the imminent fire season that's in front of us. We do pray, Father, for your grace, of your protection, Father, for our community, as well as the safety of our firefighters. Father, we want to thank you, Lord, for this evening, as we recognize, Father, for those who are celebrating their service anniversaries. May you continue to bless them, Father, for their diligence. And may it be a reminder for all of us who serve in the district that we diligently serve you as well as our community, that our service is worthwhile, and that each of us our service makes a difference. We also pray, Father, for the many agenda items that will be discussed tonight. We ask, Father, that you would give our council member wisdom, and that whatever decisions that are made, that you will bring it to pass. Your word tells us, Father, that when we call to you, you will answer us, and you will make us bold with strength in our soul. So, Father, we pray, Lord, for our council member and for our chiefs, that you would give them that boldness and strength and confidence, that you would continue to bless them in the decisions they make as they lead our district. Again, Father, we give you thanks. It's with grateful hearts that we come and pray. In your Son's name, amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Clerk of the board, do we have any changes to the agenda?
The only change to the agenda is to the agenda packet itself. On Monday, May 12th, an update was posted and a correction was made to the signature block that can be found on page 80. No other changes were made to the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
The next item on the agenda is presentations and announcements. And tonight, we have two proclamations. The first proclamation is Wildfire Awareness Month for May 2025.
All right, this evening we have 2 proclamations on the agenda. The complete proclamations are available on the website and part of the agenda packet. In 2024, wildfires in California devastated vast areas, causing significant damage to property and claiming lives. A substantial portion of these fires were found to be human-caused. Recognizing that education and awareness are crucial in preventing such disasters, there's a call to action for the community to be informed and prepared. Wildfire Awareness Month aims to spread awareness and educate people on actions they can take to protect themselves and their property and the environment from destructive impact of wildfires. The Chino Valley Fire District, along with local government agencies and the Carbon Canyon Fire Safe Council, are committed to assisting citizens in making their community safer through programs such as Ready, Set, Go and the Field Reduction Program, which offer educational resources and practical assistance in managing wildfire risks. Now therefore, the Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors proclaims the month of May as Wildfire Awareness Month.
The next proclamation is Trauma Awareness Month, May 2025, and Emergency Services Medical Week, May 18th through the 24th, 2025.
Thank you. Trauma Awareness Month and EMS Week acknowledges a critical role of emergency medical services as a vital public service. It highlights the readiness of EMS teams to provide life-saving care around the clock, emphasizing the importance of the timely access to quality emergency care for improving survival rates. Trauma is identified as a significant cause of death during certain age groups, underscoring their need to raise community awareness about the risks. The compositions of EMS teams is recognized comprising various professionals dedicated to specialized training and continuous education in enhancing their skills. It concludes by proposing the designation of Trauma Awareness Month and Emergency Medical Service Week to honor and recognize the contributions of EMS providers. Now therefore, the Chino Valley Fire Board of Directors proclaims the month of May as Trauma Awareness Month and the week of May 18th through 24th, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week.
The next item on our agenda is Employee Service Awards, and first up is 10 years of service, and we invite Administrative Assistant Donna Rohr to please come forward.
Administrative Assistant Donna Rohr resides in the city of Chino with her husband Ron. Together they have 4 children and 2 grandchildren. Donna began her career with the Chino Valley Fire District in May 2015 as a part-time office technician. In April 2022, she was promoted to full-time administrative assistant and currently stationed at the district's training center where she provides critical support services and suppression to EMS training officers. In recognition of her outstanding contributions, Donna was named Employee of the Year in 2024. Known for her dedication and team spirit, she consistently goes above and beyond assisting colleagues at both the training center and the administrative offices wherever needed. In addition to her primary role, Donna also serves as a community liaison officer for the district. In her free time, she enjoys traveling, hiking, crafting, spending quality time with her family. Donna, thank you for your 10 years of service, and we hope you give us at least another 10 more.
So most of you that come to these know that I usually have a story or two, especially if I've worked with these folks intimately in the field before moving up through the ranks of my career. So when Donna came to us, I sat on her first panel, and I was so impressed that I told the panel when she came back, I said, hey, I can't sit on this panel. And they said, well, why? I said, I already made my decision. I said, there's really no one that's going to compete with her. She's really that phenomenal. For me, I like to have her over at the training center because if anybody else in this community knows what she is and what she can do, they're going to steal it from us. So she does phenomenal work. She does a lot of really good things that we can't even put a price tag on. Donna, I'm so thankful that you decided to come back to us. She started her career here, I think, when she was 17. Went away to have a family and do those things, and then came back to us as her children started to age and become young adults, so we're so thankful. I'm very thankful. I recognize your value and all the things that you do that we really can't put a price tag on, so keep doing good work, and 10 years more sounds good to me. I don't think Ron will like that. Her husband's a retired fire service personnel, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, no, I'm not prepared for that.
Okay. Neither am I.
You do a good job.
No, all right. Thank you. Congrats, Donna.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Next, we have our service awards for 5 years of service.
Okay, all right. If I can please have firefighter paramedic Trevor Hanlon. Are we going to call them all up, or are we going to do, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so firefighter Trevor Hanlon, if you could please join us. Okay. Firefighter paramedic Trevor Hanlon lives in Chino with his fiancee Brittany. He completed the fire academy at Mount San Antonio College and the paramedic program at Crafton Hills College. Trevor began his career in the fire service with the Montebello Fire Department before joining the Chino Valley Fire District in 2020. In his free time, he enjoys spending time at the river, dirt biking in the desert, and making memories with his fiancée. He is currently assigned to Station 65 C Shift. Thank you, Trevor, for your 5 years of service with the Fire District, and congratulations.
We'll have you stay up here. We'll bring everybody
Okay,
else.
bring it, okay. So next time, can I have firefighter paramedic Corey Whitworth please join us? Firefighter paramedic Corey Whitworth lives in Temecula with his wife Natalie and their son Bruce. He attended Rio Hondo College, where he earned his associate's degree. Prior to beginning the career with the Chino Valley Fire District in 2020, Corey worked as a firefighter paramedic with the Laverne Fire Department and served as a reserve firefighter with the Vernon Fire Department. When he's not on duty, Corey enjoys spending quality time with his family. He is currently assigned to Station 65 A Shift. Thank you, Corey, for your 5 years of service and dedication. Congratulations. Okay, can I next have firefighter paramedic Parker Bowden? Firefighter paramedic Parker Bowden resides in Aliso Viejo with his wife Rachel, their son Ladd, and daughters Charlotte and Georgia. He attended Saddleback College, where he earned his associate's degree in preparation for his career as a paramedic. Before joining the Chino Valley Fire District in 2020, Parker worked as a project manager for Edwards Life Sciences, a company specializing in prosthetic heart valve manufacturing. When he's not on duty, he enjoys hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, and woodworking, though he spends most of his time with his family. He is currently assigned to Station 62 C Shift. Thank you, Parker, for the 5 years of service to the Chino Valley Fire District, and congratulations. Okay. And next, if I could have firefighter paramedic Alex Rodriguez. Okay. Firefighter paramedic Alex Rodriguez resides in Riverside with his fiancee Brittany. Prior to beginning his career with the Chino Valley Fire District in 2020, Alex worked with AMR for 7 years. When he's not on duty, he enjoys spending quality time with his family. He is currently assigned to Station 65 B Shift. Thank you, Alex, for your service with the Fire District, and congratulations.
So tonight we did it a little bit different. Again, she's been here before. We typically have everybody come up one-on-one. I gotta be honest with you, as I was sitting back trying to process, here's where it gets to be a little bit challenging as the fire chief. As you start to get closer to the end, I don't have as many intimate experiences because I didn't work with these guys on a fire engine. But what I can tell you is I sit back here and I listen to all their preparation that it took to get here. I want the community to see that we hire a high caliber of personnel in our department. They're very, very capable. And besides their qualifications, what I can tell you is, as I'm out at the local events that we have, you know, I see guys like Trevor Hanlon taking on and bringing back the derby that we did. Not necessarily related to the business that we do, but it's really a good opportunity for us to be out and engage with the community and really shore up those relationships. And so I look at things like that. I look at, you know, Corey and his, actually, I just think he's got a cool, his son's name's cool. It's Bruce. His name. So as I get to interact with these individuals at those, what I'll call, I don't want to say social events, but our events that we put on, it gives me a chance to connect with them in a different way than I did maybe some of the guys that I had to work with. So we're so thankful to have all you guys, and we appreciate you. Keep doing all the good work that you do, and I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you, Chino. All right, guys. Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, thank you.
Corey, Trevor.
Yes.
Sorry.
Congratulations. Yes, congratulations. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, another 30 more, right?
Next, we want to introduce our new employee, Fire Inspector Tom Bergman. Please come forward.
Tonight, we welcome Tom Bergman, who has joined the Chino Valley Fire District as our newest fire inspector. Fire Inspector Tom Bergman currently resides in Mentone with his wife, Samina, and their children, Kale and Logan. Tom brings a wealth of public service experience with him, as he previously served as a hazmat technician with San Bernardino County Fire for 19 years. In May 2024, he began his journey with the Chino Valley Fire District as a reserve fire inspector. On May 3rd, 2025, Tom officially started his new full-time career as a fire inspector with the fire district. In his free time, Tom enjoys traveling, flying drones, photography, 3D printing, riding quads, and winning at fantasy football. Some of our other guys. Please join us in extending a warm welcome to Tom.
I'm sorry. So I haven't had the opportunity to spend much time with Tom because he just got on. But I can tell you, Tom, how many times I did interrupt your meeting the other day? 3? At least 3. So while he was sort of getting a download from his boss now, I had well, there was a lot going on that day. I had the opportunity to interrupt their personal meeting, so I appreciate your grace there. They gave me a chance to interact with Tom and the fire marshal. So really just to show you that how important that department is that I don't want to make it about me, but the head of the department is checking in 3 times within an hour just to check in on some things that we need to get happen. So your role in the organization is vitally important. It's really the connection back to the business community and our ability to help keep them safe and on track with making their businesses thrive. So thank you for your willingness to come and serve. You just joined the best fire district in not the whole nation, definitely state of California. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Oh, no, I'm not.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, so this time we're going to take a 5-minute break. If you'd like to take photos with your family members up in front, please feel to do so, okay? Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. The next item on our agenda is a legislative update, and we invite up Representative from Rojas Public Affairs, Jaime Rojas.
Good evening, Madam Board members and directors and Fire Chief. Jaime Rojas with Rojas Public Affairs, giving you your kind of a state overview the past 2 quarters. I thought I had a full crowd. I was kind of excited to get maybe an applause from the audience this time. We'll start with, as we did a quick presentation to give you today kind of what we've done in the past quarter, in the past 2 quarters, from fourth to this last first quarter. As we know today, the governor gave his May revise of the budget that he put out back in mid-January with a few changes. Finally, they came out with the climate bond proposition that was expected to create a $2.7 billion in new funding for this coming year, but subject to change due to the LA fires. And we saw that in today's May revise, which I'll go up in shortly with some few details. No new updates and member requests. We've submitted those already for the district on our 3 projects. And key dates. Today, of course, again, the governor's May revise. June 15th is the constitutional deadline to pass final state budget. We've seen successes on that because as of about 8 years ago, if the legislature does not pass the budget on time, they get docked on their pay. So we've seen for amazing reasons that it gets passed on time. July 1st is the start of the California fiscal year, so we'll be seeing the new budget from 25-26 begin, and the budget that's coming up, it will be going through the same process all the way until the governor signs the final budget back in October of the coming year. Some of the last quarter, we began updating more information. One of the things that we realized that's crucial is communication to our clients. We've put together some more detailed information out there to our staff and to board members. We released the Governor Newsom's budget update. We released also the draft, which included within the governor's budget. We put a new form of state and federal agency lists for advocacy days as we prepare next week to go out there for California Special District Association's legislative day, as we prepare with those meetings with our state legislators, as well as we put together community funding requests, the updates for March 14th federal budget release, and lastly, the Appropriations Committee guidelines for fiscal year 2026 for the community project funding, as well as congressional spending district. So we put this all in one sheet, kind of a simple cheat sheet to prepare both staff and board members of what's coming up quarter by quarter. We also held at the end of the fourth quarter with the staff an annual planning meeting of the 2025 priority projects, and this gave us an insight of what's the priorities for our financial gaps for this coming fiscal year and the submittal of member requests, as well as in preparation for those with the requests on the federal level. We coordinated annual meetings with our legislators. Last, Senator Kelly Serrato with multiple meetings with staff, our Assembly Member Philip Chen and his staff, Assembly Member Michelle Rodriguez, and also we had submitted back in October, scheduled a meeting with the outgoing Assembly Member, which is her husband, and her as well before coming into the legislature in January. So it was great to have them both go see the new proposed fire station and the money that was helped in that process of raising that financial gap here for the district. We include agenda items for each of those meetings specifically and tailored to each of the elected officials and their staff. And post, we also follow up with notes of what was said in order to make sure that any follow-ups on both their end and our end is noted, and we're able to keep those in records as well. We assisted this year as well to the district in applying for a $23,000 Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation grant, and we expect a response sometime in mid-July. This year, as anything, we always talk about relationship building, which is crucial and core to the business that we work with, especially in government relations and lobbying. one of our biggest supporters, Senator Ciardo, proposed a bill, Senate Bill 74, which would establish a gap funding critical for infrastructure projects, just like Station 68, specifically for special projects. We coordinated and they asked us if we can prepare Chief Williams to come and testify to the subcommittee, specifically asking as a case study of what happens and the necessity to find that gap funding within the state. So back in April, we coordinated that with Chief Williams in preparing his talking points and the ability to also coordinate with both the committee and Ciardo's office. We also completed the member requests for our 3 projects to state legislators urging support for our Chino Valley Fire District projects. As I mentioned, next week we're doing our annual State Advocacy Day, so we have those meetings scheduled already for May 19th and May 20th. We have all our documentations already ready, working with staff in developing those and putting those things together. Each of the elected officials already have all our member requests, and anything, it's repetition, repetition, repetition. As even with Ciardo's bill that he put together, we still have to educate our special district, our elected officials and staff what exactly special districts means, and the lack of funding that we find in and year out in the California state budget. So our goal is always to indicate to them that our hands are tied in a lot of things, especially in funding capital improvement projects, equipment that's in dire need for our communities and the safety of our communities as well. So in preparation for that, we prepare these colored documents. Pictures say 1,000 words, as they say, but more importantly, seeing us being up there in Sacramento, making that trip up there is crucial for the maintaining of the relationships there. And as we saw, the Assembly member, our newest Assembly member, Michelle Rodriguez, had come in prior to that, continuing that legacy that her husband had left there in her support of the district. What's next? So as we saw this year, we submitted and forwarded over to staff, which forwarded over to you as board, our first quarter report, support and advocacy letters that were submitted for a variety of our projects. In May, we did and submitted advocacy one-pagers for planning of Advocacy Day. Next week, of course, Sacramento and our trip, and monitoring budget revisions, the climate bond, as well as private updates. So all this process within the last quarter, and then June, of course, coming up, follow-up emails from our meetings, and monitor committee meetings as we finalize by mid-June the state budget for the next fiscal year. And at the end, I leave this for question and answer for anyone from the board, if any questions that we may be able to answer.
All right. Any questions? No? All right. Thank you very much for that update. We
Perfect.
appreciate you being out
Thank you
here
so
today.
much. I appreciate it. Look forward to
Good
seeing you
next
up
week.
next week already.
Yes,
Thank you,
okay.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is public communication. This is a time and place for the general public to address the board of directors about subjects that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. The public may address items on the agenda at the time addressed by the board. Due to board policy and Brown Act requirements, action may not be taken on any issue not on the agenda. When you address the board, please state your name and address prior to making your remarks, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. I have no written requests to speak at this time. Is there anyone present who would like to address the board under public comments? Seeing none. The next item on the agenda is the liaison reports to Fire District. First up is Suzette Dang from San Bernardino County, 4th District.
Good evening, President Ramos-Evinger, Vice President Krieger, Directors, Chief Williams, Deputy Chiefs, and audience members of Chino Valley. My name is Suzette Dang with your 4th District County Supervisor Kurt Hagman's office. I have 3 events coming up I'd like to announce. Next Wednesday is our Supervisor Hagman's open house, and we would love to have you all join us. We're going to have 20 county departments and regional resources who will be in attendance. They'll be providing local access and information for services that we offer. There will be interactive and hands-on experience for kids and adults alike. Visit each booth, and you'll be entered for a fun raffle prizes. And if you pre-register, you get an extra raffle prize. So that's an extra incentive. The location, it will be outside our district office. The address is 14010 City Center Drive. The time will be from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And if you would like to pre-register, please go to supervisorhagman.eventbrite.com. And again, if you have any questions, call our district office at 909-465-5265. I would also like to let you guys know that food will be provided by our very own Chino Valley professional firefighters, also from Chino Police Officers Association, and snack will be provided by Chino Hills COPs. On Wednesday, May 28th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Supervisor Hagman will host our annual job fair and expungement event in collaboration with San Bernardino County Workforce Development Department, the Law Offices of Public Defender, and Ontario International Airport. Job fair will be at the Old Ontario Airport Terminal 1, located 1940 Moore Way in Ontario. Please register at WVHE0528@eventbrite.com or call 1-800-451-5627. Be sure to dress to impress and bring your resumes. Supervisor Hagman's next document shredding event will be on Saturday, June 7th at Chino City Hall, located 13220 Central Avenue in Chino, between 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. or until the shredding truck reaches capacity. It is limited to 3 standard size filing boxes per per vehicle. This event is free for all San Bernardino County residents. Please pre-register at hagmanshred0625.eventbrite.com. And again, please call 909-465-5265 if you haven't caught all that. And we'll be happy to pre-register for you. So give us a call, or we also have flyers in the back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we invite Councilmember Karen Comstock, City of Chino.
Thank you, Angela. Good evening, board members, chief, command staff. I don't have a formal statement prepared tonight. I did want to come before you this evening and apologize for missing a couple meetings. Not because I don't like coming to this meeting. As you know, with all of you, I do enjoy coming here. It's just I've had a couple of personal conflicts. I also want to thank the chief for his nice comments to me while I was up in Sacramento just recently. Thank you, chief, for your acknowledgement of that. I would just like to add that summer's here, and one of the things that makes both the city of Chino and the city of Chino Hills great places to live and raise a family is some of the community events that we host, whether it be a car show with our professional firefighters, but both Chino and Chino Hills, as you know, do summer concert series, and we do movies in the park. So the Chino Summer Concerts on the Lawn is brought to you by the City of Chino and the Chino Kiwanis Club. And you are invited to enjoy an evening of music and food every Thursday night for several weeks. Please bring your chair and a blanket and enjoy this concert. Food is available from the Kiwanis Club and other local service clubs. All proceeds will support community programs and the summer concert series. Our first concert will be on Thursday night, June 12th. The band is going to be the Smooth Sounds of Santana. Again, that's located at 13200 Central Avenue in the city of Chino, and it starts at 7 o'clock and it ends at 9 p.m. It'll be hot while the sun is up, but after the sun sets, you will need a blanket. And piggybacking right on that, our first family movie will be on June 13th, and it's Inside Out 2. As you recall, anything but Barbie is good for me. So Inside Out is actually a cute movie. If you haven't seen it, come and see it with your family. And I'm available if anybody has any questions of that. That concludes my comments. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we invite Mayor Art Bennett, City of Chino Hills.
Good evening, board members, command staff. Just a couple things. First and foremost, I want to thank the department for their quick response on the brush fire that happened Monday. 5 acres, with the aerial support and everything else that was going on, we were getting literally updates probably every half hour. So we were very, very concerned, obviously, that it might spread, but it just shows what a good team that we have supporting and keeping our citizens safe. A couple things to be thinking about coming up. Next week, there's going to be a couple high school graduations on Monday and Tuesday for Chino Hills on Monday. Tuesday is going to be the City of Chino High Schools. We also have Buena Vista continuation schools coming up on Wednesday. We have a save the date. June 5th is going to be my State of the City address. I'm sure that you all have notices on that. The City of Chino has theirs the following week on the 11th, which I think is the same night as your board meeting. So you'll have to work that one out. But those are the couple quick things. But again, thank you for the board members that were at my, I thought that was going to be a very long meeting last night. We honored the Ayala High School drumline last night. For those of you who don't know, that school has been, they go back to the WGI championships for the entire United States each year, and they're almost always in the top two. Well, this year, not only were they in first place, they set a record of 99.5 out of 100 for their score. And a couple of us were fortunate enough to go and see them at the district showcase a couple weeks ago at Chino High School, and they are absolutely fantastic. But we wanted to do the recognition of them last night because several of the members will be graduating next week. So that's pretty much it. But thank you very much for the opportunity, and keep doing what you're doing. We really do appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we invite Vice President Jeff Taitula, Chino Valley Fire Foundation.
Board members, chief, staff. Just to recap, a couple things that were already mentioned. First, our car show is this Saturday. We have sold out about 116 spots, and there are still some left. So if you know anybody that would like to attend the car show and participate, we have 22 more spots left. Suzette mentioned we will be cooking at Supervisor Hagman's event next Wednesday on the 21st. We also did cook at our open house. We did have some hot dogs left over, and we were able to donate those to the neighborhood house. So it worked out well. And then also we supported the family of Clarissa Cano during the fundraiser at Roscoe's about a week and a half ago that was hosted by Chino Police Department. It sounds like it was very well attended, and hopefully the family was able to raise a decent amount of money. Have you talked to anybody from Chino PD to see?
I believe they raised close to $10,000.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was a really well attended event. So that's all I've got this month. So thank you.
Next, we have Chair Charlie Blank, Fire Safe Council.
Evening, President Ramos and the board and the chief of police, or the chief of the fire department. The chief of police, she was used to being here. Anyway, I just want to report April 26th, we had our semi-annual brush pickup. And even with all the rain, I guess I was kind of amazed that, I guess the neighbors wanted to get rid of that stuff because we still did 2 full dumpsters, which is about 8,000 pounds. And the most interesting thing, and I told Sarah this last week, was we had more palm fronds than I think we've ever had. I guess people are realizing that if you don't take these things down to where the necessary level, that you could have a horrific fire in your backyard. But it went very well. I mean, and one of the guys that was there with me, he was smart enough to bring an easy up, so we didn't have to sit in our cars or sit out in the rain the whole time. But it was very well attended, and and I have to give kudos to Waste Management because they show up on time, they switch out the dumpsters on time, and they pick it up on time. And it's never been a problem, and they really do a terrific job. So thank you very much. And I apologize, Chief.
Thank you.
That concludes our liaison reports to Fire District. The next item is the consent calendar.
Okay, do we have any public comment on the consent calendar?
No, no comments.
Okay. Yep. If any board member wishes to pull an item from the consent calendar for discussion, please state the item number you wish to pull.
I move to approve items number 1 through 6.
I second.
Okay, so I have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
None opposed.
The next item on our agenda is new business. Item number 7, purchase of 2 paramedic squads. The purpose of this report is for the Board of Directors to review and approve the purchase of 2 paramedic squads. And the report tonight is by Deputy Fire Chief Jeremy Ault.
Thank you, Angela. Good evening, everyone. So actually, I'd like to begin our discussion just to update everybody, a little bit of a history and a snapshot of where we're at with our squads. If you recall, we transitioned to providing paramedic service via paramedic squads in 2015. About that time, we purchased 5 squads. We had 4 in service at the time. We purchased another in 2017, and then which gave us 2 reserves, and then we ended up putting squad 3 in service, just a few short years ago. So we currently have 6 squads. 5 of those are 2015s. 1 is a 2017. The average mileage on the fleet, if you will, of those is 110,000 miles. 2 of them have in excess of 125,000 miles. The lowest squad at this point has 88,000 miles. Just understand, we have tried to rotate those vehicles between assignments to try and keep that mileage even, if you will. An understanding that our target for replacement was actually 75,000 miles. So a natural question you may be asking yourself is, why now? Why are we talking about replacing 2 of our squads now? A couple of issues that have been provided challenges for us in the last several years as to why we didn't begin the replacement at 75,000 miles. One of the most significant was the discussion about the ambulance program. The uncertainty of the ambulance program and how the legal battle has drawn out the implementation has created a challenge for us that we needed to address. Secondly, another challenge is that the platform we currently have are like F450. They're very large, dual rear wheel. In the report it says dual axle, but it's actually a dual rear wheel type of a vehicle, basically a dually, a big dually. They're also diesel motors. We initially went with diesel because it's an industry standard. We had the tanks at all the stations, and we anticipated carrying a lot of equipment on those squads, which we thought the diesel application would be good for. What it's proven over time is that they've been very costly to repair. Primarily that reason is that motor is designed to be started and then driven for a very long distance. Many of you may have a diesel. Again, these are what we call DEF compliant, so they have an emissions system on them. And we found that over time, starting, stopping has increased wear and maintenance and is therefore cost us quite a bit of money to keep them up to speed. So this entire time as a command staff, we've been looking for an innovative solution to try and understand how can we navigate in the presence of the uncertainty for the ambulances, but also recognize we have to do something moving forward because the squads are getting long in the tooth and they're getting expensive to maintain. So we actually started to investigate right around January, I'd say. There was a lot of dealer surplus. You saw a lot of vehicles were present on dealer lots. Like some Dodges were going for like 15,000 below sticker and all kinds. So we actually started to investigate, should we be getting pickups and outfitting them differently, but that came with a host of challenges. We considered replacing with the current model that we have, which a quote we got last year was about $350,000 just to replace one of the current ones if we did it exactly the same. Another challenge was that you would have build time. Even if we went and ordered a specific truck that we wanted, we would have to wait for that to be built by the dealer, or we could look for something that had some stock on a dealer lot. We even evaluated at one point, should we take our existing ambulances, since they're not being utilized in that capacity, should we run them as squads, if you will? And as we worked through that operationally, we ruled that out because of several significant operational issues in using a vehicle for a different purpose than it was intended. So Where our solution brought us to now is that whole time we had staff looking for solutions, and it actually presented itself to us. We had Captain Brady, who you saw this morning or earlier this evening, actually located 2 existing vehicles that were brand new on a lot. They were a little bit different than what we've purchased in the past, but that presented an option to us we hadn't considered. And therefore, that availability of them already being built and ready for sale, that kind of drove our timetable as to why we would try to implement this solution now. In addition, we had already had $270,000 allocated to replace several of our other light fleet trucks that we hadn't purchased yet, so we had some money in the budget, so we had a unique opportunity. So what are these new squads we're recommending for purchase? They are, first, they're gasoline. A lot of the reports came back from the mechanics that they would prefer a gasoline solution for the future. They are what's called a single rear wheel solution, which is easier to do the brakes on. It has a lower cost. They have an aluminum body, which is lighter, which is why we can do it with a single rear wheel as opposed to the dual. And most importantly, they offer some creative solutions in the fact that because they're lighter, they're narrower, they're gas, and they're both four-wheel drive, if the ambulance program turns and goes forward, we can actually repurpose these 2 vehicles to different purposes within the fleet. So we can have one tow the boats and have equipment storage on it for swiftwater rescue. We can also utilize one for what we call our REMS application, which is for wildland USAR management. So we feel that that offers us some flexibility depending on where the ambulance solution goes. If we had replaced or come up with the idea to replace them with the older model we had, again, those are diesel, they're dual rear wheel, they're costly to repair, and again, we're talking about the difference between $190,000 for one versus $350,000. So they're called super squads. That's the new. We're teasing each other about the names, but essentially, it's a very similar package. As I mentioned, they're about $190,000 each. And I'll get to the recommendation in a moment. You'll notice that combined, it's $380,000. That does not include tax and license in that figure. Hence, the 10% contingency we'll discuss. And again, these are manufactured by a company called Ward Apparatus, and they'll be distributed through a company called FAS, which we've purchased other apparatus through. The squads will be purchased through what's called HGAC. That's the Houston Galveston Area Council Cooperative Purchasing Program. That helps us be compliant with our competitive bid process. So essentially, it's a pre-bid process following that formal solicitation process, which helps us be compliant with the district's procurement requirements. With that, I'll read the recommendation. It is recommended that the Board of Directors review and approve, 1, the reallocation of $270,000 from the fiscal year 2024-25 budget originally designated for the purchase of 1 deputy chief vehicle and 2 training captain vehicles. 2, authorize the use of $110,000 from the unassigned fund balance to facilitate the purchase of 2 new single-axle gasoline-powered Super Squad paramedic units from Ward Manufacturing and sold by FAS at a total cost of $380,000 with a 10% contingency for other fees. And 3, authorize the fire chief or designee to execute the purchase. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you so much for that report. Do we have any requests to speak on this item?
We have no request to speak on this item.
Okay, being none, it's time for the board to comment. And please ask your questions when I call your name. And Director Howie.
Actually, no comment. It sounds good to me.
Oh, all right. Okay, Director Leith.
Thank you. Jeremy, thank you for that presentation. I had a number of questions and you covered them very well in your presentation. I appreciate that. So at what point the 10% contingency, we're fairly confident is going to cover these unknowns yet, the licensing and fees?
Correct. You know, with the anticipated tax for our location and the licensing fees, again, the 10% contingency should cover that.
Okay. And the equipping of them, if you will we just move equipment over from the existing, or is there
Yeah.
additional equipment needs?
Yeah, that's the nice part. So these, because they're already fully built, the only thing they're missing is lettering and the installation of our radios. They already have the lighting packages, everything else is ready to go. So that, because of the threshold amounts, the installation of the radios falls below, and we can use other currently budgeted funds to accomplish that within the chief spending authority.
And I don't think I have any other questions. You did a great job, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Director Romaine?
Yeah, thank you. I know I talked with you earlier in the week and we answered some questions. One question I have is, where are these located and how are they gonna get here? Are they gonna be transported here from the vendor, or are we on the hook for that?
Great question. So as I understand, they were on a lot in New York. FAS is a local dealer, so it's just like a fire engine, like Pierce is located in, Wisconsin, but we buy it through a dealer here. We're purchasing them through FAS, which is a dealer here. It's my understanding that the dealer is bringing them here and we're purchasing them from the dealer here.
Okay. And then, do you anticipate that we'll be able to complete this and encumber these costs on this budget, or are we gonna have to look at carrying it over to, at the end of this, to facilitate it?
Great point, great question. So even when we were debating getting those other deputy chief and training trucks, our concern was by the time we ordered them and got them here, they would be into next fiscal year. Because we've already actually given a letter of intent to this manufacturer, they're ready to go. It's our intent to move forward with the purchase immediately, and we should have them here in record time.
Thank you for your work. I see that you gave up your deputy chief vehicle. Thank you.
Okay, Vice President Krieger?
I have asked all my questions when this came before the Finance Committee, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Very good.
Yes. And I as well thank you for the presentation again today. At this time, I would like to request a motion from the board.
So moved.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. So it was a motion by Director Howie and a second by Director Liz. Sorry, girls, I've been forgetting to do that. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right.
The next item on our agenda is item number 8, ordinance number 2025-01, designation of fire hazard severity zones. The purpose is for the Board of Directors to review, introduce, and conduct a first reading by title only of ordinance number 2025-01, adopting the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection Local Responsibility Area Fire Hazard Severity Zones. The report tonight is by Fire Marshal Danielle O'Toole.
Good evening, President Ramos-Evinger, members of the board. In January of this year, CAL FIRE announced a phased rollout of the fire hazard severity maps for the local responsibility areas within the state. San Bernardino County was a part of the last phase, and we received our maps on March 24th. In accordance with the government code, local agencies are required to adopt the maps by ordinance within 120 days of receiving them, and within 30 days, agencies are required to make the maps available for public review and comment. Within 1 week of receiving the maps, the district published an interactive link on our website, as well as posted printed copies here at our admin office. Public comments were accepted for the entire month of April. In total, the district received 123 emails. Those comments have been provided as an attachment to your staff report. The government code allows local agencies to amend the respective maps and make them more restrictive. However, it does not allow an agency to be less restrictive. Ordinance number 2025-01 has been prepared to adopt the designated fire hazard severity zones within our jurisdiction without amendment. Exhibit A of the ordinance is the combined updated map for the cities within our jurisdiction. Presentations have been provided to the Chino City Council and Chino Hill City Council during the month of April. The presentations covered the scope of the maps, the legal and procedural requirements, and the potential impacts of the maps. Upon adoption of Ordinance 2025-01, the updated maps will establish the boundaries used for regulations related to defensible space, compliance with building standards, and hazard disclosure in real estate transactions. Additionally, the maps will serve as a valuable tool to increase public awareness regarding emergency planning and preparedness. The proposed ordinance has been reviewed and approved by our legal counsel, And as required by law, a public hearing will be held prior to the adoption of the ordinance, and the notice of the hearing will be published for said meeting. It is recommended that the Board of Directors review, introduce, and conduct a first reading of ordinance number 2025-01, adopting the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection Local Responsibility Area Fire Hazard Severity Zones, approve waiving the reading of the entire ordinance and read the ordinance by title only, advise the public that a complete copy of the ordinance is available for public inspection at Fire District Headquarters, set a public hearing for July 9th, 2025 during the second reading of ordinance number 2025-01, and direct staff to provide public notice as required by law. That concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment on this? Do we get any?
We have no.
Can I just make a couple quick comments? Obviously, this is not good news for the city of Chino Hills. I think basically the entire city west of the 71 is considered in a high fire danger. We all know what the basis is for this with the devastating wildfires earlier this year. The one question that was answered when you say that you can make adjustments, but you can't reduce the danger level, that I mean, we're stuck with what we're stuck with. But I would suspect that once this gets in the paper and that, you may very well receive some comments at the public hearing. So I would just, I'm sure you already anticipate that. I'm not sure what the city may or may not do as far as a comment once it's adopted, or proposed to be adopted. But it's a real concern. We have residents that are losing their fire insurance. We saw in the paper this morning, what is it, State Farm is getting authority to raise their rates 14% or something like that. So it's just, so it's 38?
For the residential.
Yeah, so it's really a tough thing. It's something that we're all dealing with. We feel sorry for all of the losses, and we know that the insurance companies are on the hook for all of that. But you know, it's where we are, and we clearly want to make sure that all of our residents within the fire district's area sphere of operation are safe, and that it gives you the right tools to take care of keeping things safe for us. But I just want to make those couple comments. Nothing that you weren't going to already anticipate or that you already haven't heard from. So, okay? All right.
Would anyone else like to address the board on this item? Oh, please come forward. Thank you, and please state your name for the record.
Yes. So good evening. My name is Ann Lahr, and following up with our mayor, this is very devastating. And I really look at everyone's expertise in this room. There isn't anything that we can do to lessen what the risks have been designated, but there's got to be some creativity that we can all come together. I think obviously the state park is 14,000 acres, and that's really where you know, this designation comes from. To what Mr. Bennett said, I really look at the bigger picture and say, if people can't afford insurance, what does that mean to the house that they own? So I think that this is so significant, and I'm sorry that only a little over 100 people commented, because I really don't think the understanding is, you know, what can happen long term. So I am certainly open to any suggestions of how we can create some community around this. I do believe that Brea, at least on that side of the park, does have some committees that they've created. I'm not sure if we know about how the fire started on Monday. Obviously, that was that's incredible timing that would even happen. But all of those things, thank you so much. It was such a great, quick response. And so that is very comforting to all of us. But we're going to have future events, as we all know. So I don't have the expertise, but as a homeowner who has been here for 30 years, lives on Sapphire Road, if that tells you anything, and in the Altera community, it really is very, very concerning. So I appreciate that you took the moment to listen, and maybe we can come together with some suggestions as far as committees. So, and thank you for that, all that you do.
Thank you very much for your comments, Ann. Do we have anyone else that wishes to speak?
Seeing none.
Okay, this is a time for the board to comment. Please ask your questions, make your remarks. Director Howie.
Yeah, just, it's just unfortunate what's happened in the state in the last few years. You know, our homeowners insurance stayed so flat for so many years, and all of a sudden now the cost for everybody, not just in the hills, which is really, major. Even in Chino, you've seen prices double in the last couple of years. And where's it gonna go from here? Who knows? Obviously, the state has to do something, to try to mitigate these kind of costs, because the fire insurance cost is just so costly now to do any construction, do any rebuilding, that it's unfortunate for California at this point. And I've never seen it in my lifetime to be this bad. So, but obviously Sacramento is the place to go, and I think a lot of people need to get up there and really make their voices heard up in Sacramento. And I can only kind of harken back to Chino Hills and their attempts with Southern California Edison, and how fantastic. Nobody in the world thought that those power lines could be changed, and Chino Hills did it. So it's obviously wherever it has to go, it's got to go there to get this situation, get some help from that. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Director Luth?
Thank you. We received a number of comments. Do we do anything with those, and do we send those to the CAL FIRE, for instance? Do they see those, or are those just staying in-house?
So since it's a local responsibility area, it's specific to our ordinance, so CAL FIRE doesn't need to see them. So the district has, although we're not legally obligated to respond to the comments, we have responded to all but one at this point.
Okay, very good. I've been on our website, and then I've gone over to CAL FIRE's. There's a lot of good information there actually on CAL FIRE's site as well as ours. But I would encourage, I'm sure we are, encourage people to go to our website, go to their website. It's very interesting reading through that. There's a lot of information about how they came up with this, the process they went through. Let's see here. I know I had something else here. So our only role really is we need to adopt this. We don't have any say in really anything. We just need to adopt it, and that's it.
Correct, and we could choose to be more restrictive.
Right.
We'd have to submit
Right.
findings for that, but at this point, we're recommending just to keep it as is, and then go through the process to adopt it.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, Director Romaine?
Along with what Director Luth said, so I feel sympathy for you. I'm right below you on Willow Bend. I too fell into this zone, so this affects us. Where no one else is, no one's exempt. It came right down. So when this first came out and we got all this, I spent a lot of time, did a deep dive. Like, okay, can I represent the constituents, and can we possibly find a way around this? And legally, unfortunately, we cannot. This was a legislative act back in 1990. It's when this started, actually in 81, and then it started way back then, and it went through and through. The last map was, on their CAL FIRE site, there's an interactive map with a slider. You can see the previous map. Half the park was even considered high fire. So that just shows you where the acreage is coming from. Unfortunately, Chino Hills is the largest city in California. The gain of acreage of what's affected. And Hesperia was the next one. So I feel for everybody that wrote. I read all the comments. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. I would encourage anybody who's here or listens to this or watches on YouTube, go to CAL FIRE's website, look at the methodology behind how they came up with it. There's a lot of stuff about ember casting and stuff. It's not just if you live next to brush. It was prevailing winds, and it's a whole bunch of stuff. And I know that's falls into the Chino area in the College Park, because those are people, a lot of most of our concerns were coming from that. And they're like, yeah, I'm on this nice flat area out here, why are we falling into this zone? And talks about the prevailing winds over a 30-year period. Nothing was done like overnight, and really, it wasn't done because of the Palisades and Eaton fire. This was something that was already in progression. It was going to happen either way. So thank you for the report. I know you've been fielding a ton of calls, as everybody else has, but that's where I'm at. So thank you.
Okay, and Director Luth had
Just one more.
comment.
I agree. They also talk about the difference between this is a hazardous map, hazard map, versus a risk map, which insurance uses. So take that for what it's worth, but it's a good explanation of the difference and how supposedly the insurance companies actually look at this. So.
Okay, thank you. Vice President Krieger?
Yeah, and thank you for being here and sharing your comments. And like Director Romaine said, we all share the pain in that as well. The insurance commissioner for the state did put out a notice, a memo saying that exactly what Director Luth just said. The methodology that insurance companies use is different than this map. I don't buy that at all, but he did say that it doesn't necessarily correlate. But I think we all know better than that. Is there any recourse for somebody to go to CAL FIRE? Is there an appeal process at all? Because I read through it all and I didn't see one.
From my understanding, no, there's not, and I do believe that if a resident locally reached out, they're going to refer that resident back to the local agency.
and then our response is we can't do anything because we're compelled by it. That's very smart of them. I would make sure, as far as advocacy goes, you share your concerns loudly with our state assembly members and our state senators as well, and really apply some pressure to them as well.
Mike, excuse me for talking
Go
to
ahead.
the audience, but isn't our Senator Kelly Sarto a former firefighter?
He is. Yep.
There's somebody would know probably know it better than anybody else.
Yep.
So, just a thought.
Yep.
Okay.
And we are going to be all up in Sacramento next week, and this will be a topic of conversation.
Definitely. And I want to thank everyone for their comments. Thank you, Ann, for coming tonight. Thank you for the presentation for this. At this time, I'd like to request a motion.
And Board President, if I may, just to read into the record as part of the motion, just the ordinance title. So ordinance number 2025-01, an ordinance of the Board of Directors of the Chino Valley Independent Fire District, County of San Bernardino, State of California, designating fire hazard severity zones. And I would recommend for both first reading and second reading on this that we do a voice vote of all 5 members.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. At this time, I would like to request a motion. Okay. I have, okay, so we have Director Luth.
I'll second.
And we have a second from Director Romaine. So we'll do a voice vote. So Director Romaine?
Yes.
Director Luth?
Yes.
Director Howie?
Yes.
Vice President Krieger?
Reluctantly, yes.
And myself? Yes, passes 5-0. No, reluctantly. We all reluctantly do it.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is item number 9, Special District Risk Management Authority Notice of Election and Call for Nomination. The purpose is for the Board of Directors to review and discuss the SDRMA Notice of Election and Call for Election, Notice of Election and Call for Nominations for the SDRMA Board of Directors and determine fire district participation. And I will be giving that report tonight. As listed in the staff report, Chino Valley Fire District is a member agency of SDRMA, and we did receive the notice of election and call for nomination to elect 4 seats on the SDRMA Board of Directors. The 4 individuals who are incumbent are as follows. Mike Schaefer, he's the Director of Costa Mesa Sanitary District, and he serves on the board. Timothy Unruh, and he sits on the Kern Mosquito and Vector Control District Board of Directors, as well as a director on the California Association of Public Cemeteries and Kern County Special Districts Association. Thomas Wright, he is on the Clovis Veterans Memorial District Board of Directors, and Robert Housley, he's the general manager of the Midway City Sanitary District. As noted in the report, should the Board of Directors elect to nominate a candidate for this position, the board would need to approve the resolution indicating the individual to nominate, and as well as submit the candidate statement of qualifications form for that candidate. The deadline to submit the nomination is Friday, May 16th at 4:30, and that concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any requests to speak on this agenda item?
We have no request to speak.
Okay, all right. Being none, this is time for the board to comment. Please ask your questions and make your remarks when I call your name. And Director Howley.
Well, I really don't have, as far as, I don't know if anybody wants to run or anything like that.
Oh, you want to run for that?
No, I do not. I don't have the time, unfortunately, at this time.
Okay.
So that's my comment.
All right. Director Luth.
No and no.
Oh, that was quick. Director Romaine.
No, you know what, Director Howie and I attended their conference earlier this year, and we met with one of the newer board members and one of the sitting board members, and they seemed like they were doing a fine job. And if they would like to continue that, I will support that.
Okay.
Good point.
Thank you. Vice President Krieger.
It is something I'm interested in doing 10, 15, 20 years from now. But not now.
Okay.
Did you say minutes from now?
Okay, and myself, I can't take this commitment. Yeah, there's no way I could do that. So we have nothing on the table. We just leave it as is, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Thank you for your time on this item, so no action taken on item number 9. The next item on the agenda is item number 10, the Fire District Policy and Procedures for Board of Directors. Purpose is for the board to review recommended changes to the Fire District Policy and Procedures for the Board of Directors and provide direction to staff, and I'll be giving that report tonight as well. As noted in your staff report, attached is a redline version of these proposed changes. As the board may recall, back in December, the board approved President Ramos Evinger and Director Luth to serve on the Board Policy Ad Hoc Committee. Following that appointment, the board submitted recommended changes to the Policy and Procedures document through the clerk of the board, and attached is the proposed redline version of those changes. This document has also been reviewed by legal counsel for compliance with laws, rules, and regulations. Additionally, I'd like to just share that at the dais, I did provide just a revision log that just showed the various changes that are included in the attached document. And I will, that concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Do we have any requests to speak on this agenda item?
No requests to speak.
Okay. This is the time for board to speak. So, Director Howie?
Not much to say. I see we have a few changes here, nothing really major. We've cleaned up some language, looks like here. You know, it looks fine to me for this year.
Okay. Director Luth?
Yeah, you're
my favorite person.
Yeah, we spent some time on this, didn't we?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sound like you didn't do it.
No, but you're right. A lot of it was cleanup.
It's just a lot of language.
Yeah, a lot of it is cleanup, clarifications. Yeah, so I have no other comments unless there's questions related to the ad hoc, but.
Looks good.
Okay, thank you. Director Romaine?
No, it looks great. I was asked, like, do you have any ideas on changes about 20 days after I got sworn in? So I deferred due to a lack of even using it. So I did read it all. I'm glad the red was there and I didn't have to try to find it, but I think it's a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Krieger.
I want to share my thanks as well to the two of you for going through this, and Angela as well for cleaning all this up. And I think that changes are, either legally mandated or just small in nature, and it just makes some things a little bit more clear. So I appreciate it.
Okay, and I just want to thank Director Lees because he's done this with me for a few years, and I really appreciate. I know I'm a pain, and I really appreciate. And Angela, I appreciate the meetings and the time you spend with us. It can be a little tedious at times, and I'm a squirrel, taking care of other stuff, but really appreciate you and all that you did. And with that, I would like to request a motion.
I'll move. So move.
So I have a motion from Vice President Krieger. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, a second from Director Romaine. Voice.
No voice vote required. I think we could just do ayes or nays. And just a note for the board, so with this motion, our clerk will then bring back a resolution at the next meeting for formal approval.
Okay, very good. So I will now request a voice vote. Please say aye.
Aye.
Request a
Aye.
vote?
Aye.
Okay.
Everybody.
Everybody,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
I would, Angela was a huge help in this, and
Yes.
Isaac too. Thank you for making sure we didn't mess something up and clarifying that one little issue on the time extension. So thank you both for it.
And I understand a few years ago, there was a lot more work done in this particular thing, right?
Yeah,
Seems like not as much.
for various reasons. Yes.
Every policy has a name behind it.
Right.
Okay, Fire Chief's comments. Fire Chief Dave Williams, do you have any comments for us today?
Yeah, I have a few, thank you. Under personnel development activities, Human Resource Director Arroyo spoke at the first annual Leadership Summit for the California Association of Code Enforcement Officers hosted at Chino Hills Community Center. So thank you, Anthony, for continuing to engage in those things on our behalf. Under board activities and public relations on October 16th, I had a discussion with several other members with the city of Chino Hills regarding an audit of the state park. Sort of related back to comments that were made by the public member earlier, in that we're looking for opportunities, even though we know that we have to accept these maps, we're continuing to look for opportunities that may exist for us to do something different or help out the process to the benefit of our community. So we're engaged in those areas where we can. On April 21st, I attended a Finance Committee meeting. On April 26th, we had attended the annual corn feed and car show cruise on May 3rd. And so thank you to all the personnel who went out there and put up the flag, as they do every year. It's a nice show, and I get comments. Obviously, I live in here in town, and I get a lot of nice comments about our participation in that, especially related to our flag. On May 3rd, attended the open house for the Chino Valley Fire District. Thank all the firefighters for cooking. I know you guys extended yourself a little bit there, and we didn't have as great a showing. And we'll continue to monitor that. We did move that into May just to see if we would have a good turnout. We were competing with the weather and several other events, and likely the change of that event, which our attendance was a little bit down. We were about 300. The last 2 years, we were about 2,000. So we'll continue to watch it to make sure that it's still meeting the community's needs and desires. Chino Valley Fire partnered with the Chino Police Department to host a Students Against Destructive Decisions event at Chino High School, which aimed at educating students about the serious dangers of drinking and driving. Obviously, we're leading into many proms have already happened, and we're leading into graduation. So young people out there, just be making wise decisions not to drink and drive. Under organizational items of interest, April 14th, AB 1234 ethics training meeting, hosted here in-house by our very own legal counsel, Isaac Rosen. Sorry I wasn't able to attend, but thank you for getting that done for all of our personnel and allowing us to stay on task with meeting our award recognitions that we like to get. On April 23rd, San Bernardino County Fire Chiefs meeting. On April 24th and 25th, staff met with Sam Mazza from Citygate to conduct our standard of cover interviews, and we will have a mid-project update with Sam and his team in July. On April 28th, staff participated in a district-wide photo opportunity. I want to give a big shout out to Carlos Skibar, Deputy Chief Skibar, Ashley, and anybody else who helped put the logistics of that together. I know that's a big event. We have to pull together the photographers, the bleachers. So there's a lot that goes into it. I want to thank our city partners around here, Ontario and Montclair Fire Departments, who provided coverage for us so that we could conduct that photo. We hadn't done one in 7 years, and so it went well. Under Human Resource Update, May 3rd, as you met tonight, Mr. Bergman was hired as our fire inspector. We're looking for great things from him. We've also hired 7 fire recruits. They will start the fire academy on May 19th and will be introduced at a future board meeting. And for both cities, we'll bring them out and introduce them to City of Chino Hills and the City of Chino. Under emergency response and support, Chino Valley firefighters provided mutual aid to Ontario Fire Department for a residential structure fire. And on May 12th, the Chino Valley Fire District responded to a small vegetation fire, was already mentioned earlier, in the contract area of the state park. The fire was held to 5 acres, no injuries or loss of property. Thank you to CAL FIRE and the other local cooperators who assisted with the incident. Under development, personnel development activities, Chino Valley Fire hosted the second quarterly solar meeting at the Southern California Edison Air Operations Building in Chino. Chief Alt did a fantastic job. We had several agencies there that brought air assets. So basically, there was 5 or 6 helicopters there. Orange County Fire Authority, CAL FIRE, San Bernardino Sheriff, LA County. Jeremy, what's the private company?
Also Colson Aviation. And Chief, I appreciate the credit, but I take no credit. That was Battalion Chief Cripe that coordinated all that.
There you go. Colson, that's the name of that? Okay, so Chief Cripe's still here? Oh, okay. Anyway, I also attended that event. I could tell you, it's been many years since I've seen that kind of a showing. So I think when you get the neat toys out there is what I'll call them. We had a tremendous showing. I got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in many, many years. So it was nice to see all the cooperators show up, network, and, following that meeting, there was not only the helicopters, but there was lots of discussion about the incidents we've had locally and how we've transformed and improved on those experiences and come together.
Chief, if you want people to show up to a meeting, have a helicopter. If you want a lot of people, have 6.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Even outside the fire agencies, I made some really good contacts with our SCE partners, and so it was really just a great training opportunity and personnel development. Under the Community Risk Reduction Department, on April 1st through 3rd, the admin assistant Sandy Ortiz attended the annual AFSS conference in Contra Costa, so that's for our administrative folks. Fire Inspector Connor Lowry attended PC 832 the week of April 14th, which gives him, essentially it's a course that addresses, arresting powers and use of firearms. On April 15th, Fire Marshal O'Toole attended and participated in the City of Chino Hills Planning Commission meeting. The Planning Commission hosted a workshop related to development in the wildland-urban interface. Again, we're continuing to look at solutions. Danielle, thank you for your commitment and to help the community work through those items. Under upcoming meetings and events, May 19th to 22nd, executive staff and I are be attending CFED, so we unfortunately will not be at Hagman's event. We will be out at CFED when the board is up in Northern California. On May 26th, we'll be attending the City of Chino's Memorial Day ceremony. I look forward to that. It's always a really good event, and I just appreciate all of our veterans that have served. May 27th, we have our budget workshop. On June 5th, we have the City of Chino Hills State of the City Address. Under Confire items of interest, we received the budget and provided input back to our internal finance so that we can make sure that we have all the funds we need to pay our bill. And finally, for me, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that this Monday my son will be graduating high school, and his mom and I couldn't be more proud. He's just a good kid. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chief. Board committee reports, board comments. Director Howie.
Thanks, Sarah. Boy, it's been really busy for the board the last month. I mean, I was looking over my list. We've been to so many events and have had so many meetings. There's so much going on right now. It's amazing. So anyway, just quickly, we started off with the ethics training, now that we're all ethically trained, so that's exciting. Great job by our presenter. I think I know who he is. He did a really job getting us, we had to stay exactly for the 2 hours. We couldn't leave a minute early, but.
It was a little dry.
But he did a great job, knows his stuff. Two Chino Council meetings I attended, Inland Empire Utilities Agency on Water, attended that, met with the chief, did the corn feed. Unfortunately, it got a little wet, a little bit of rain on that day, and a lot of the cars either left early or didn't show up. We were also manning the corn booth because our Rotary Club does the corn. And unfortunately, we didn't sell a whole lot of corn that day because it was a little disappointing for the crowd. But it's always a great day, and there's always a lot of nice cars there. And it's a wonderful event that Chino puts out. Actually, kudos to the Kiwanis Club for that. And as a Rotarian, I don't usually say that very often, but they do a great job. With that. Attended SCAG, Southern California Association of Governments, out in Palm Desert at the end of the month for 3 days. A lot of planning, talked to a lot of the local politicians and people. It's always good to keep up with them and getting some ideas on what's going on out there. Firehouse, our fire open house was there. And then last but not least, our open house that we had. It was a little chilly weather, and there was a lot of things going on that day. Our attendance was down a little bit, but I think there was other events that were taking precedence over it. But other than that, been a busy month. That's all I got.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Director Luth.
Okay, I've got a lot, so I'm going to fly through this because there's something I want to get to. So thanks to Supervisor Hagman for his assistance in the new fire apparatus that we took pictures of earlier. Thanks to Cub Scout Pack 214 for the flag salute. Congratulations to all our service award recipients, and welcome to our new fire inspector, Tom Bergman. And looking forward to the 17th, the car and bike show. And yeah, attended the Gateway Caris Church groundbreaking, our special board meeting, a couple of Chino Council meetings, a couple ad hoc meetings, IEUA's Earth Day. That was kind of interesting. There's more going on there than I expected, and ran into Andy there as well. Waste Management went on that tour. That was pretty interesting, and Sarah got a chance to thank, I don't remember his name, he's the West Coast Western Vice President. Got a chance to thank him for their support, Charlie, of your efforts out there. So he heard it. Attended SCAG for a couple days as everyone else did. The open house, yeah, it was unfortunate the turnout. Let's see here. But then, this is what I really want to get to. Went on a tour of Confire. When was that? Tuesday? Monday, thank you. So Andy and I went on a tour there, met up with Deputy Chief Cook, gave us a great tour, learned a little bit more about the history, a little bit more, obviously, saw visually what was going on, met people there. It was interesting. One of the things he talked about was the opportunity with his involvement and with others that we've had involved there, starting to impact the culture there. The Chino Valley culture was starting to take shape there, and how happy he was with that. Seemed like there was good interaction with the staff there. Everybody, certainly while we were there, was very upbeat. They were showing us the equipment, how things worked. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing the job they have to do and how they do it. Talked about their wellness program, the things they're trying to do and trying to implement. And he mentioned the chaplains, and in particular our chaplains, and their involvement with those folks who were on the front line. And I certainly didn't think about the impact to them, the kind of trauma that they can go through, just like firefighters who are out on the call can go through, and how much he and they all appreciate it. And so while we're there on this, they have these screens and on this that's showing different things. And at one point it showed who's the chaplain on call, and it was Henry Aguilar. So I'm just so thankful we have that. I know not all of our fellow organizations out there have that, but we do, and I'm glad we're part of helping them with what they have to do. So kudos to the chaplain program. And then the other thing that just really struck me is he talked about how our crews out in the field, how they interact with the dispatchers, and how professional our people are, how respectful they are, and that's not true with all other departments, which is very unfortunate, but not with Chino Valley Fire. Our folks are top-notch, and they are recognized in the ranks there, if you will, that in this Chino Valley, those are calls they want to participate in versus maybe some others not as much. And the third thing you mentioned about our folks is they will give follow-up. They'll call back and let them know, kind of give them some closure of, okay, here's what happened. Apparently that doesn't happen always either. And so again, it just speaks, I think, well of our fire district, our folks, and so I was very impressed with all of that. I'm impressed with our team now in more ways, and but it was a very good tour. I'm glad I went and got to see all that, and looking forward to the new digs once those are ready. They're thinking about January. They definitely need a new facility. The building they're in is pretty questionable, but they're doing a great job for us. So that's the end of my comments.
Okay, all right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Got my glasses on. Much like everybody else, this was a busy time since our last meeting, so I will go through them rather quickly. First off, though, congrats to Donna, Trevor, Corey, Parker, and Alex. Anytime you can recognize our members for their time here and let them know that we appreciate them and we're grateful for them being here, and it's a great thing, because that's our number one asset, our employees. So congrats to them. Welcome to Inspector Bergman. He stepped out with his family, but you know what? Welcome to the team. So groundbreaking, like you said, of the Charis Church, grand opening of Empower Physical Therapy. Probably the best ethics training I had that month was last month with Isaac. It was great. I had a one-on-one with the chief. We discussed all the stuff going on. Earth Day, where Director Luth, that's morphed into me. They set me up now with a tour of them. I'm going to meet with their affairs people, and they're going to take me on a tour of their facilities and get to see all that. I attended solo the 4-day Special District Leadership Academy so that I could, try to aspire to be leaders like the rest of you, and so I have ways to go, so I'm working on it. Cornfeed car show with the rain. Flag was awesome, but also our members manned a booth doing CPR along with our explorers, and that was well attended. Even though it was raining, people still were stopping by. It might have been because next door was the police, doing a DUI stuff and whatever, and probably intimidating the people, and so they came over to learn how to do CPR. So that was great, and so I thank the members that manned that booth and participated. Attended 2 of our Supervisor Hagman's meetings. Those are always, county supervisor meetings are something everybody should experience once in their life, and hear all that stuff. They have the same people will get up and say some interesting things, but yeah, that's their right. Also attended SCAG with everybody else, which is the Association of Governments. our Supervisor Hagman was the outgoing president, so we had a lot of the Chino Hills was there, and it was a good event. We got to meet with Edison, only because Southern California Edison, is very in depth here with things going on. So we were able to talk with their regional vice president and stuff, and get them all on board and help out with what's, and everybody was very, very wanting to help us out. So that was good. Attended the open house at the fire district. Opening of the Independence at the Reserve out in Chino, which was a new facility, which they're not selling them, they're just renting them all, and it was they're already partially filled and plenty more housing there. And then finally with Inspector Lute, we went to the Con Fire tour, and I'm going to piggyback on everything he said. I was thoroughly impressed. I've been around a few agencies and with a couple dispatch centers, and the professionalism in there was awesome. Our head dispatcher got Dispatcher of the Year and got it at the state level, which for fire dispatch hadn't been done. It's always been police dispatch, because there's just, by sheer number, there's more of them. So that was a pretty big accomplishment they were pretty happy with. And the other thing was they have a nurse, certified, a registered nurse that will answer calls and be able to divert without having to dispatch a unit to handle things they can handle over the phone, including up to then calling them Uber Health and getting that sent to take them to an urgent care or where they need to go, which they said accounts for about 10% of their call volume. So they do, 220,000 calls a year, so 22,000 calls, they're able to stop having to send a unit out, which we're the only dispatch in the state doing that. So that was pretty good to hear, and pretty proud to be part of that team that we're providing that. So, and that's about it.
Thank you. Vice President Krieger.
Well, I attended most of everything that everybody else discussed as well, so congratulations to Donna and to everybody else for their 5 years, and to our new hires. I did go to Confire on a different day, because they didn't want us all going at the same time, and spend some time out there. I was there during Dispatch Appreciation Week, and so it was cool. When I was there getting a tour, one of our crew showed up with donuts and treats for the people out there. It was kind of surreal. It's next door to the Sheriff's Department Dispatch, and I had to go through training there back in the 90s, and back then it was like there was a runway where buildings are now, because it was part of Rialto Airport, and the airport's not there, it's all concrete tilt-ups now, so very interesting. Also attended the wonderful AB 1234 training by Isaac. It was, wow. The SCAD conference as well, and I really want to thank Supervisor Hagman for the cost share for the new airport fire rig that we had outside today. So I believe he participated $300,000-ish, and we did as well. And that brings up, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, we did have the fire in the state park a couple days ago. It was contained small. Do we know, was that man-made or natural cause?
I know you're gonna love the answer. It's still under investigation.
Okay. Is there trails by there?
So if you're familiar with the state park, Bain Canyon Road is
Yeah.
the main road in. It was between that road and Bain Ridge Trail, which is up on the right-hand side as you're going in. And it was down past the ranger station, just past the bridge that you drive over. So I know I say that tongue-in-cheek, but literally because of the location, the investigator, and because that fire actually occurred 100% within our contract area for our wildland protection agreement for CAL FIRE. The CAL FIRE investigator is the lead investigator on that, and they are still investigating for that cause.
Okay, there were a couple helicopters and 4 fixed-wing aircraft.
Yeah, we had one fixed-wing air attack, it's called, out of Hemet Ryan. We had two fixed-wing tankers out of Hemet Ryan, two out of Ramona Air Tanker Base, and a helicopter out of the Prado Station and Hemet Ryan as well. So we had quite a bit. It was quite the air show for that fire.
And our costs associated with that, because it was in our area for the helicopters and stuff, is?
Correct. Because of the leadership of the board and our practice of maintaining that wildfire protection agreement with CAL FIRE, all of the air assets were covered under that contract, so there's no additional cost to the district.
We just paid for it.
So, yeah, I mean, literally, we pay $500,000 a year or so for that contract for CAL FIRE, so that really made a huge difference, so, thank you for that, Jeremy. And that's it for me for tonight.
Okay.
It's been busy.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, on April 12th, the grand opening ribbon cutting for Empower Physical Therapy and Wellness. We had our state banded AB 123 training, and I can keep on belly aching about that, but we're done. Thank you so much, Isaac, for the presentation and for keeping us here the full 2 hours as we need to be. We had a couple board policies ad hoc committee meetings. I had my meeting with the fire chief, finance committee meeting, attended the waste management re-grand opening of their Azusa facility, the centennial celebration for Los Serranos Golf and Country Club, the corn feed run. It was wet, but it was a lot of fun. Harvey, thank you for all your hard work with that. I know you are there at like 4 a.m. He's first to come and last to leave, so thank you. Not first? Okay, there's a few. Okay, it was still a lot of fun. I still had a great time, even though it poured down for 2 hours. It was still a lot of fun. I really had a good time with that. Attended SCAG, the open house. We had our agenda review at the Fire Safe Council meeting, and I just want to thank Angela, Danielle, and staff for, you guys are continuously helping me with various items for the Fire Safe Council and that, and I just want to thank you guys. I really appreciate everything that you guys do. I really, truly do. And also on mine was, as everyone else, I want to thank Kurt Hagman, Supervisor Hagman, for his partnership in bringing us the airport apparatus. And our service awards today, it's always great. And welcome again, Tom. Welcome as a full-time employee. And I'm really appreciative. I had opportunity to spend some time with our little Cub Scout group today. That was a lot of fun. I want to thank you guys for coordinating. Danielle, those goodie bags were super cute. They were super excited about getting the swag. Gals, Kelly and Melania, thank you for your help in coordinating everything. I appreciate everything you gals do for us as well. And I want to send a congratulations to all our graduates and wish everyone a safe and blessed graduation and future. With that, this meeting will be adjourned to the special meeting budget workshop of the Board of Directors of the Chino Valley Independent Fire District to be held Tuesday, May 27th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. at Fire District Training Center located at 5092 Schaefer Avenue, Chino, California 91710. Thank you.